Hello, it's October 1st. I'm Sam, head of the Academy here at Adara, and let's run through a daily update. So, taking a look at the price of the beans, this is an interesting point that I think that we've come in the last few months, and it's primarily because for some time there appeared to be some correlation with Bitcoin with gold, and it made a little bit of sense in that at the time there was stronger trade issues between China and the United States. The Hong Kong riots were very strong, and they still are strong, but it seemed like there was a lot of risk-off trading, that people were moving money flows into assets which, like gold, and in this case Bitcoin, which could see as being moved out of China and into stronger assets. If we think about where the breakout occurred, there was two breakouts in theory. One was the one that occurred back in April of 2019, and the other breakout occurred when there was this gap from 6,300 up to 6,800. So here, there has been found a bit of resistance at this 8,000 area. So looking at a monthly chart, heavy distribution at the top, followed by a precipitous decline in one day. And now we're making new levels and trading around two areas. One was at 8,600 or 8,060, and the other area is around 8,340. Now there's been a strong rejection off of 7,760, which was the short squeeze that occurred a couple of days back. A lot of shorts seem to have got caught in that, as the move was close to $1,000 in just over 24 hours, right? From 8 o'clock until 8 o'clock. Yeah, so within a 24-hour period, price of Bitcoin moved $1,000, which is actually quite a bit. Taking the ruler and taking this up, it moved $871, which was an 11% move. Would have blown out the 10x shorts, the 25, 50, and 100s, of course. But those 10x moves are pretty significant because a lot of traders that I know are trading around that 10x leverage point. And so that's a big area where people can get caught out pretty easily. So chatting with Pavel, he noticed that the shape that is going on right here on the, let me just take my drawing tool. So this polygonal shape shows that there's heavy shorting going on here, that there's not an accumulation happening below. It really shows that as the price has come back up into these higher levels, around 8,350, the more volume has been happening at the top end, which signifies that there's a short accumulation going on. Also looking at the bottom, so taking a look at the lows in comparison to these the levels that we're at right now, the accumulation was much smaller than what's happening up top. So this is just reloading of shorts before we head back down again on the futures. And then this yellow area is just no man's land for now. So we're probably having continued downward moves over the next week. That's what I've been thinking. Back down to at least, I think we're at least going back down to most traded price for the year, which, not for the year, but probably for the past 6 months. So either 5270 or we're here right at 8,000. So the next one below would be 6,409. So this is a log chart, and your moon boys will tell you that we're going through an accumulation period here. We'll have an expansion, which has happened for most of 2019, and then until the halvening, when supply drops by half, we'll have reaccumulation. And then after the halvening, when there's less Bitcoin to be distributed, then we will have the next bull market because of the halvening, or in correlation with the halvening. You should see the look on Pavel's face at the moment. So this is, I'm not going to draw the top line because it's not necessary, but this is essentially the line that gets drawn. And the idea is that Bitcoin somehow is going to grow at a logarithmic rate into the future as well too. So, and that, say at the end of 2022, which is 3 years away, the price of Bitcoin should be close to $500,000. Yeah. So it's really a perfect version of a Keynesian beauty contest, in that you're just guessing what, it's an nth level game of you trying to guess what the next group of nth level people are trying to guess about the price of Bitcoin. So you're really just trying to figure out, can I buy Bitcoin now, and will it be worth more in the future? But there's no fundamental underlying reasons why it should be worth more or less. It's just simply the fact that it could be worth more or less in the future, and hopefully you're not the last person to come and buy, because then you would be sitting at coins that you bought at 20,000 and down almost, well, more than 60%. So that's enough of that for today. I need to get some bullish people on to talk about stock to flow ratios, these logarithmic growth. We'll have them on. We'll talk to them. I think it's important. Moving on to the news, EOS was fined by the SEC over an unregistered securities sale. They were forced to pay $24 million in penalties for conducting an unregistered securities sale by the SEC. That Block One raised an equivalent of several $billion. It was 4.1 that they raised, and they settled for 0.06% of everything that they raised. So the settlement only applies to the sale of the original ERC20 token it sold, and ERC20 EOS holders swapped their Ethereum-based tokens with the proper EOS token when the network went live. So there was a release that said the SEC has simultaneously granted Block One an important waiver so that Block One will not be subject to certain ongoing restrictions that would usually apply with settlements of this type. Block One believes that the SEC's granting this waiver evidences Block One's continuing commitment to compliance and best practices in the United States and globally. So they got away scot-free, and it really just proves the point of Block's headline, which is don't ask for permission, hire good lawyers, and then ask for forgiveness, which seems to be the best way to operate in the United States as well too. Now, Blockstack, which operated in the right way, raised $23 million on its Reg A offering, spent 10 months and about $2 million getting SEC approval for the Reg A Plus sale. And so they spent 8.7% of the total raise, in contrast to the 0.6% that Block One had to pay the SEC. So Blockstack could have raised 100 to 200 million plus, paid a small fee to the SEC, and gotten away scot-free. Additionally, when I go back and we talk about the waiver that EOS got, it essentially means that they're decentralized enough to not require it to register as a security and can be traded on all cryptocurrency exchanges. This applies to Ethereum. Ethereum had an ICO, which clearly violated U.S. securities laws, but has somehow now transitioned to being a decentralized currency. EOS has done it, raised $4 billion, and now has transitioned to being a fully decentralized currency. So it seems like the way to go, if you're going to be launching a token or a decentralized network, is raise as much money as godly possible, raise from whoever you want, in whatever kind of manner you want, and then once you've raised all that money, you can hire the best lawyers who can go and fight the SEC and settle with them and negotiate with them a small payout in accordance for breaking the law. This is why I love America. Coinbase-led group aims to help crypto firms avoid securities violations. So Coinbase, Kraken, Anchorage, Bittrex, Circle, DRW, Cumberland, Genesis, Grayscale, and I said Kraken, So they're, as a council, they're going to issue a 1 to 5 rating for a given cryptocurrency or token similarity to a security. Under the rating system, a 1 constitutes a crypto asset with few functional similarities to a security, while a 5 would be consistent with the definition of security. So of course they've rated everything that is on their own exchanges as not securities. And then whenever they do list new tokens, they'll probably always list them as like a 1, which is not a security. So notably, Maker, XRP, Maker, and Polymath landed scores of 4 or 4.5, which means that they're probably securities. Polymath is probably a security. Maker, hard to say. XRP, definitely. You have a company which owns and got 60% of all the XRP tokens and is dumping 60 to 100 million tokens a month. Oof. And profiting from it, while dumping on like senseless retail people who have no idea how much new supply is being put into the system. It's really bad. Obviously, Binance comes out, says the guys who score above 2 should form their own council and re-rate everything again. And Ripple isn't in the council either. Funny stuff. All right, that's going to wrap it up for today. I will be back tomorrow with a bullish take on Bitcoin and why it may make sense to buy Bitcoin here. I'm Sam from the Adara Academy. We'll be back tomorrow with another daily update.